This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. It was only yesterday that Tasmanians discovered Hobart's historic Treasury building would be put on the market. But the government's surprise budget announcement is already proving to be a tough sell for some.
This historic building, the centre of a growing debate. The community divided today over whether Hobart's Treasury building should be sold, as promised in yesterday's state budget. The Treasurer questioned by the public about the controversial decision at the annual budget breakfast this morning.
With a new owner breathing new life into that building, I think that we will see the Treasury building shine once again.
The government is open to proposals to repurpose the building and expressions of interest process beginning soon, but many are not sold.
There is a growing constituency of concern of Tasmanians who won't stand up for this privatisation and exploitation of public treasures.
The 1820 site is currently used as an office space, originally a courthouse. The Chamber of Commerce, supportive of the move, now urging the government to consider the sale of other public assets as well.
We've said for some time that there should be a review of things like, for example, the Burnie port, which is a port that has great opportunity for gearing up.
These are buildings that Tasmanian people should get a chance to see. And we don't think that it should just be flogged off to the highest bidder. We want to see the Tasmanian people have some input into exactly what happens with the Treasury building.
Meanwhile today, one of the nation's leading economists is raising concerns over the Prime Minister's ambiguous claims Tasmania would not be $1 worse off under new GST arrangements.
If the GST arrangements are changed in a way that makes Tasmania worse off than the budget papers have assumed, then we're going to be running deficits, we will be incurring debt, or the government would have to scale back some of its spending programs.
Praising the state's economic position, but pointing to our heavy reliance on federal funding.
If a future federal government, or indeed this one, were to be less generous to Tasmania than it has been this year, then Tasmania's budget wouldn't look nearly as sound as it does under current assumptions.
Saying that while Tasmanians could feel good about their future, we still have hurdles to overcome. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
The state government says it will spend the next few months working with Calvary Healthcare to find an appropriate site for a new private Launceston hospital. Calvary plans to spend $100 million relocating its St Luke's and St Vincent's hospitals into one place, increasing the number of hospital beds and providing more services.
The Health Minister with an extra spring in his step. Delighted an extra $750 million over 6 years will be injected into health. The Launceston General Hospital, one of the big winners. It will receive brand new infrastructure, more parking and upgrades, but some construction will take years.
The Hodgman Liberal government is building a women's and children's building, which it's never had before. Correct. We're going to also be building a whole new ward on this hospital in 3D in the fullness of time.
But it's Calvary's plan to relocate its two private Launceston hospitals into one adjacent to the LGH that the health community believes could ease pressure on our public system.
We can collaborate a lot more, and I think it will have great benefits to the people of northern Tasmania.
Calvary CEO says running its current two sites is inefficient and a brand new building could provide more services and more beds.
Roughly 20 to 30 beds and bar 2 to 3 operating theatres.
While Calvary will fully fund its proposed new hospital, the state government is now working with it to find the right location.
And we will formally discuss the mix of health services, including palliative care. We'll be looking at what is the very best site selection here in the LGH precinct, noting that the government actually is the owner of quite a bit of property in this immediate vicinity.
The Labor Party supports the co-location of a private hospital at the LGH. We think that it is the way forward to get not only the best services in Launceston, but also to attract the best staff.
Public land would be sold to the private operator. If all goes to plan, construction could be underway next year. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanians across the state have taken to the streets today to help shine a light on elder abuse in our communities. Dozens joined the walk in Launceston and Hobart, calling for respect, saying there's no excuse for elder abuse.
The people who are being abused find it extremely difficult to say something against their own family. So a lot of it we don't know, but for those that we do know, there is quite a number of people that they are abused, and they can take small forms and not so significant to larger forms where a lot of people's funds, financial support is just completely gone.
The walks are organised by Council on the Ageing Tasmania and are run as part of International World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. While many of us were rugged up in our lounge rooms last night, hundreds of people turned out in Hobart watching a 73-year-old man be buried underground for 72 hours. Mike Parr's daring work of art described as everything from awe-inspiring to perplexing.
This steel chamber buried underground, a temporary home.
This is not a representation of anything. This is actually about what you want to bring to it.
Hundreds gathering in Hobart last night watching crews dig up one of the city's busiest thoroughfares.
It highlights our fears.
A round of applause as Mike Parr climbs into his subterranean retreat. Soon after, the road is sealed.
He's going to be meditating, one of his pastimes, and who else? Thinking, I imagine.
Tonight, almost 24 hours later, he remains under Macquarie Street with the bare necessities, including a thin mattress, water, a bucket for a toilet and a sketchbook. Oxygen's being pumped in, with crews able to access the chamber in minutes if there's an emergency.
Partly amused and partly perplexed. It's kind of easy to just disconnect from it, I think, which is kind of the point, maybe.
Anna Schwartz, a colleague of Mr Parr's for over 3 decades, says it's extraordinary.
I feel it's a very important work, and that we're all very fortunate to be presented with that.
A symbolic gesture, possibly sending a powerful message. The artist has previously said he's attempting to draw attention to the plight of those oppressed.
I feel very respectful of what he's doing and the points that he's hoping to invoke in people's thinking and imagination.
Mr Parr will come above ground on Sunday.
Oh, well, art.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
And Louise joins us now as the city gears up for another night of celebrating the weird and wonderful. Good evening, Louise. What can we expect from Dark Mofo this evening?
Well, Joe, as we've just heard, Mike Parr remains underground tonight, but there's lots here in Hobart happening above the ground. The popular Winter Feast has just opened its doors and it's in full swing. Organisers are expecting upwards of 10,000 people in there tonight. Just up the road is Dark Park, and while that's going to keep everyone entertained with its food and bars and installations all around Macquarie Point, there's also night mass to keep those partygoers entertained late into the evening. And Joe, there's lots of fires around the place keeping us all warm tonight, or attempting to, as well as your dancing shoes. I'd highly recommend bringing a jacket with the chilly winter air certainly out and about tonight.
Jacket and a beanie, I suggest. Thanks so much for that, Louise. Have a great evening. 17 of Australia's best ploughers have put their tractors to the ultimate test at the National Championships in CASSY. While it was every man for themselves for most, one family proved you can never have too many entries in the battle to be the country's best.
This is certainly a family affair for the BAYLES clan. Of the 9 Tasmanians carving up a storm today, they make up over half of the entrants.
There's my father and uncle and my sister, cousin and myself, so yeah, there's 5 of us.
As if the competition wasn't dirty enough, they've mixed in some good old-fashioned family rivalry.
A little bit. We try not to bring it into it, but it does. We always want to outdo each other. It makes a bit of fun. And
fun indeed, but ploughing also has a serious side. 17 of the best ploughers sliced and diced their way through the field at today's Nationals, with strict time limits for each plot, while also maintaining a high level of attention to detail. It was pedal to the metal. These ploughers will be judged across a range of criteria to take out this level of the competition. Next up is a spot at the Worlds in America next year. Victoria's Sean Carson has been competing for 30 years and is preparing to head to Germany in September for this year's World Championships. How does that feel?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's the first time I've been overseas to plough, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Even though he's off to an average start today, he's confident he can turn it around tomorrow with the support of his mates close by.
Ploughing is a fraternity, I guess. It's a fellowship that, yeah, it's a mateship thing. Yeah.
We're all mates until the plough goes in the ground, and then it's oh no, it's good. It's yeah, everybody helps everybody. Anybody's having a bit of a bother, everyone can chip in.
Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
A young Hobart boy will be counting his lucky stars tonight after a lifelong dream was realised. 6-year-old Riley Robinson had a garbage truck named after him as part of a radio competition with Hit 100.9. He says he can't wait to show off his new namesake to his prep class.
What do you reckon your friends at school will say?
Oh my God.
There's been so many years of us like following the garbage truck and watching it pick up the bins. And yeah, Riley would just love to sort of wait for them to turn up each day and say hello to the drivers.
Riley says he wants to be a garbage truck man when he grows up. A group of Tasmania's newest police recruits have today rolled up their sleeves to give blood as part of a friendly competition between emergency services. The brave bunch contributing to a crucial cause, with each of their vital fluids saving at least 3 lives.
Saving lives is in their blood. 19 of these local heroes today doing just that.
You just see that huge need. So, and I'm lucky I've got a common blood type, so mine is frequently in high needs.
So out of the group, you know, they've saved nearly 40 lives just by coming in today.
These new police recruits taking part in the statewide competition between emergency services.
They know that they're going to be out there attending serious accidents or violent assaults where blood will be needed, but this is one way they can give back as well to help save lives.
A friendly rivalry between the police, SES, ambulance crews and the fire service.
Challenges each other to make sure that we're donating blood and to see who can come out on top.
The blood service says it urgently needs 4,000 new donors in Tasmania, with the cold and flu season restricting visits from regular donors.
We need a whole pile of people to roll up their sleeves and come in and join us to help us with that flu season.
Donations can be made at Red Cross centres across the state and bookings can be made online. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Let's take a look at the day's business and finance news thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed at a 4-week high after investors decided it was time to buy back into the beaten down banks. The major miners and energy stocks made solid gains. The ASX 200 index has risen by 77.4 points. And a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 74.55 US cents and 64.94 euro cents.
After booting their way back into the winner's circle, Glenorchy will be hoping to make it 2 on the trot against North Hobart this weekend, following their 26-point win over the Tigers.
They didn't go out of that game thinking, yeah, how good are we, or yeah, we're back. I think they understood, hang on a second, there's a lot of hard work that needs to be done for us to be good.
While North Hobart are still without injured recruit Colin Garland, with the side desperate to avoid another whitewash after going down to North Launceston by a staggering 130-point margin.
There's little signs each week we're getting closer to a 4-quarter effort, but we've just got to keep working hard to ensure that we get that before the season's out.
The opening bounce is at 2 p.m. at North Hobart Oval. The Hobart Zebras will treat every match as a must-win in the back half of the NPL season, with a loss potentially spelling the end of their title hopes, while the Launceston Tornadoes have made a bold mid-season move, adding some fresh new talent to the list. Sitting in 4th on the NPL table, a win against the Strikers on Sunday would see the Zebras back into title contention, while a loss could see it slip completely out of reach.
We've slipped up a couple of times recently, a few bad results, but I think we're still there. We're only 1 point behind South Hobart, 3 behind Devonport.
Fresh from their Seljak Cup victory, Devonport are flying high, but the Zebras remain one of only 2 sides to get the better of them this season, something Sanders hopes might give them a much-needed mental edge.
I believe they're the best team in the state at the moment. They play very well, as you could see on Monday, and we've just got to take it up to them.
To basketball, and the Launceston Tornadoes have welcomed in a new recruit for the remainder of the Siebel season, signing former American college player Courtney Williams, in the hopes of filling the void left by an injured Lauren Mansfield.
I think I could play 1 through 4 any position on the team. I try to
score, obviously, make my teammates better, find a way to create for myself and make my teammates better. Do anything to win, really, just rebound, whatever it is.
Still recovering from an ankle strain, Mansfield is racing the clock to be fit for next month's Four Nations tournament in China, having earned selection in the Opal squad, and a solid showing could mean securing her spot for September's Basketball World Cup.
On my goals for a while now, so that's something that I'm going to try to do. Obviously it's going to be tough, there's a lot of great players out there, but that's what I'm aiming for.
The Tawns take on the Melbourne Tigers at home tomorrow night. And finally in sport, Richie Porte is looking sharp ahead of next month's Tour de France, with the Tasmanian establishing a handy 32-second overall lead after the sixth stage of the Tour de Suisse in Switzerland. Porte crashed out of the Tour de France in spectacular fashion last year, resulting in a long and painful recovery. But judging by his most recent performance, he could be back to his devastating best.
Good evening. Friendly beaches our top today with 14 degrees. Hobart reached 13, Launceston, Burnie and Devonport all on 12. Temperatures were up to 4 degrees below average, the overnight low being -1 at Bushy Park and Ouse. King Island and Grove reached 13, Flinders Island, Smithton, Low Head and St Helens 12, Ouse and Strawn 11 degrees, Lyawini 4. Pine Tree Rivulet had 52 millimetres of rain to 9 a.m. If you don't know where that is, it's right near Doctor's Point. And today Mount Bob's had 13 millimetres. A northwesterly airstream brought low to middle convective cloud across the state today, streaming through in that fashion right through and off to the east coast. Cloud is also spiralling around a low to our south, directing that cloud our way and over Victoria and South Australia. More patchy clouders over the south of WA and just some high level cloud over the far north. Tomorrow, that low to our south will direct a southwesterly airstream our way with several embedded troughs. An area of high pressure over the bight extends over the central and west of Australia. Winds west-northwesterly at 20 to 30 knots, reaching up to 40 knots offshore over the north. A shift to the southeast will occur in the evening. A gale warning from Southeast Cape to St Helens Point, a strong wind warning from Tasman Island to Sandy Cape. We have a minor flood warning for the North Esk and a flood watch for southern river basins. Now the weekend starts. We've got Saturday in Hobart, a bit showery and a top of 12 degrees. 9 the top for Maydena, showery for Oatlands and 8. For Launceston, a possible shower, 13 the top, 12 the high for Devonport, a shower or 2 for Lyawini, -2 overnight. Burnie, a shower or 2 easing, 12 the top, 11 the high for Strawn and Marrawar, a windy showery day. And for the east, a morning shower, St Helens 13, Swansea 13, Orford 13. Sunday now and showers over the west coast along with the south and east. A possible hailstorm or 2 in the south, fine over the central north. Mainly fine on Monday, a shower for the south and east. Fine on Tuesday apart from a little coastal drizzle over the east and northwest. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, showers though for Adelaide, Melbourne and Canberra. Sunny and 18 in Sydney and sunny also for Brisbane and Darwin. And cloudy conditions around the state. Hobart 8, Launceston and Devonport 9. Joe, that's it for me. Footy's on tonight. Go the Swans.
Okay, go Swans. Thank you very much. That's all from the news team. Have a great evening. Good night.